Latinos Out Loud podcast. Yeah, that's what this is. Latinos Out Loud.
Yo, yo, yo. Yo, 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 yo. Yo, 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 oh, oh, yo, 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 oh, 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 yo, 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 yo.
Wow.
Hi.
I just called to say, yo, 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 yo.
That is a good one if I've ever heard a yo. Wow, that's good, Jamie.
Jeez.
Hi, guess what this is? Knock, knock.
Hey, who is it?
Who's there? Latinos.
Latinos who?
Latinos Out Loud!
Oh!
Gotcha.
Sounds like a loca out loud.
Gotcha. Yeah, pretty much. That also is LOL, so that works.
That
Latinos
works.
Out Loud,
Wow, that
Loca Out
works.
Loud. Now that sounds like a tattoo. Thank you. I like it. Loca Out Loud coming soon on some flesh.
Tramp
okay.
stamp coming soon.
No,
Oh,
that real estate's been occupied, so we'll have to stamp it somewhere else. But hi, this is most certainly the Latinos Out Loud podcast, just for clarity.
Yeah, facts.
Just in case, okay?
Facts.
There's no silence here tonight. The decibel level is higher than it usually is. Don't you guys feel a buzz? There's a buzz here.
Oh, yeah.
There's a buzz.
There's a buzz.
Yeah. Bzz, bzz, bzz. Wanna rubber with the B, huh? Bzz.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to throw a hex on the whole family, but I am dressed in all black like the Omen today.
I see that.
Have your friends singing "This Is for My Homies." We're not doing Lil Kim raps. We're not doing that here. But we have so much to talk about. Guys, hi, it's your friend till the very, very end, Rachel La Loca.
Hey.
Hi.
What's up? It's your boy from way back. I was trying to do another B word, but Jay Burns.
Hi.
What up? It's Mr. Frank, Spiracy from Washington, Washington. Washington. Hi.
Your fake microphone has a lot of feedback, Frank.
Oh, it does, damn it.
Yeah.
Fix it.
Frank is doing so many things with filters on his Instagram that now he's his own filter, adding echoes and stuff. Do you also do your own like auto tune? Can you
Yeah.
like do that on your voice?
Yeah,
But,
I'm getting there. The
Oh my
stories are
God.
good.
You're just
yeah.
like Drake on his new album.
Yeah.
Yo, the surprise album, right? Wasn't it a surprise album?
Yeah, it was.
I haven't heard it yet. I have to hear it.
It's
I'm
like a
hearing
lot of
good things
club.
about it.
It's like a
I
lot
love
of club music.
Shit.
It's strip club music, basically.
Strip club music. Aye. Okay.
Is there a song on there about the hot sauce and the condom? Please tell me there is.
Ooh.
Please tell me he did a song about it.
He has a song called Sticky. That may be something about that. I
Oh.
don't know. It's for real. It's actually one of the best songs of the album. So
Jeez.
Love that sticky.
Mm.
Well, speaking of sticky, what did you stick to this weekend, Jamie? Anything?
Yeah.
Ooh,
That's kind of
Speaking of
gross.
strip clubs and stickiness,
Ooh, a
let me keep it
strip
real.
club.
I was a part of a bachelor party, weekend. Pretty much, it was like
Ooh.
Friday and Saturday.
What?
So this particular person was like took up 2 days, or at least
Damn.
a day and a half. It was like the latter half of Friday, but like pretty much all of Saturday.
Damn.
Yeah, they went in, and so it started on Friday. Drinks, Korean barbecue, which I never turned down.
Ooh, y'all
Can't
did
go
it
wrong
up.
with that.
I never
Mm-mm.
turned down. That's like that moaning type food where you just eat and you're like,
Right. Nobody's talking.
And
They're
then-
just mm-ing the whole time.
And then they throw you out, because they're like, please, this is very inappropriate. And then we did karaoke after that.
Okay.
Ooh, I see a theme forming.
It was
A
karaoke.
Korean theme. Okay.
A Korean theme. Well, we were in K-Town. Shout out to K-Town.
Alright.
Up in Midtown Manhattan. So, and then I think maybe we went to one more bar after that. That was Friday. That was only Friday.
Wow.
And then we had to wake up the next day to hang out again because they wanted to hang out like at noon, starting at noon. And I'm like,
Dang.
Oh,
dude, I'm still
boy.
recovering from tonight, bro. I got home at like 3:30 in the morning or 4. So I didn't make the noon thing. I was like, I'm meeting you at the 2:00, the second location.
Damn, they got girls at 12 o'clock and 2 o'clock out there in these places?
No, there's not girls. We haven't
okay.
done that yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
In
right,
Frank's head, there were girls at noon.
No, yeah. Frank was like, we hitting up every spot with girls. Like, that's all we're doing.
Oh my god!
This is all code words. Karaoke and Korean barbecue.
Oh, okay,
It's
okay.
all code words for a strip club. No. No. So the
Hey.
Saturday, yeah.
I don't
Go.
know what goes down behind Banchan Chicken. You know, there could be a room. You never know.
Shout out
Okay.
to Banchan. That's some good. That's some good chicken right there. So Saturday, when I got there, we went to this place, this mini golf spot
Oh yeah.
that in Midtown. It's called Swingers. Frank,
Well,
no jokes.
ooh, okay.
No jokes, Frank.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Wow, okay. I get it. Swingers.
Honey, what's going down at the 15th hole? I don't know. Why don't you come and see? I don't know about that hole, but I know about the 3 that I have.
Oh man, yeah.
Is that what goes down?
And, no, it's a new place in the city.
Oh,
and-
like swinging the golf club.
Yes, Rachel.
Oh,
Yes,
got
yes,
it.
yes.
Now I see.
Yes.
So
All
yeah,
right.
it's an indoor. It's a new spot up in the city. Like couple days. I don't even think it's like a week old. And so yeah, it just has mini golf and a bar there and food. So that was a cool spot.
Wow. You had a crazy weekend, bro. Oh my god.
So okay, we did that. Then the dude, who's getting married that we're there for, he wants to go see Top Gun in IMAX.
Wow.
So
Wait,
I'm
this
like,
is a
yo,
bachelor party?
how
Yo,
many
this-
things are we gonna do, right? I'm like, this is filling up my whole summer of activity. I don't think I would do as much stuff the whole rest of the summer like I'm doing in those 2 days. So
Holy
anyway,
shit.
we see that. After that we go to another bar. So pretty much everybody, at that point, most everybody leaves, right? And it's me, the guy who's getting married, and then his other friend. And all of a sudden, the guy that's getting married, he kind of hints that hey, why don't we just go to strip club?
Oh.
So finally, at the end of the 2-day,
like high school senior trip that you guys went on.
yeah, like
Mini golf.
our first
Top
time
Gun.
out, yeah, like teenage boys in their first time out in Manhattan. You know what I mean? Like wow, this is the big city. I'm surprised we didn't like take a tour of the Empire State Building. or
Did you
whatever.
guys go to American Girl Place to get some dolls or no?
We went to the Hard Rock Cafe, Rockefeller Center. So, okay, so we go to this place, no, we have a good time. We weren't there after that. I'm not gonna get too specific.
I can
How
see
are
you
the- how are the-
conjuring the
Yeah.
images, but you're not telling us the
You
full
know, like
story.
how
was-
yo, how
gotta
are the
give
chicks?
props,
How are the
yeah.
chicks? Were the chicks hot or not?
I gotta
Like,
give props
Frank,
to
you have
one.
to use the word chicks. Can
I
you
know.
say women?
women.
God.
My bad. Okay.
First of all, they had a dancer there that allegedly was like a legend, and I don't know where she was a legend of, but it was like a lot of fanfare for her.
Oh.
And it's like, now
Oh.
coming down, and I forgot her name, but Anastasia something, maybe, I don't know. And so she's like, and then they have a big video of her dancing as she's dancing in front of you. Like they have video of her highlight reel as she's dancing currently. I'm like, what am I supposed to look at? Like her best of or her performing now?
I want you to see where I came from because this is the past and I have grown. I can now do triple, quadruple flips on the pole since. So
And the
I would
pole
like you
sits.
to see my growth.
Yeah, so that was there. There was an impressive dancer who was actually like climbing on the wall. Like she went up the
Dang.
pole and then just started climbing the ceiling. Like
Spider-Woman.
Spider-Woman, yeah.
Wow.
Or like, I don't know. Like I
a
can't
good
think of
trick.
another person who
Very impressive.
who walks on the ceiling like that.
Did she have like suction cups on her forearms?
She might have been cheating. I don't know. I know she has silicone cups, but I don't know about but you know what? Having said that, it was still innocent fun. It was we were, a lot of it was just kind of watching the show. And if the guy wanted a quick little, what are the kids calling it? A lappy?
Yeah.
You know,
Is that what they're calling
That's what they're
it?
calling
What?
I
it?
don't know.
I like that.
I've
Can
been
I get a
that.
lappy?
I've been out of that game, the strip club game.
Lappy.
A lappy.
Okay, now I know.
You know, again, very innocent. He had fun, and it was great. I was very exhausted.
I
by
could
the end
imagine.
of
It just sounded like you
By
had an
the end
adventure
of
these
it.
last 2 days. Woo.
Yeah. So,
Ooh.
anyways, but yeah, it was interesting. So I'm glad the Eloeros got to experience what I experieed
Wow.
a little bit.
I'm sweating, bro.
If you want to see pictures, you know, go to my my OnlyFans page.
Oh.
Jamie, I'm so proud of you.
Jamie.
Anywho, enough about moi. I know you guys went somewhere that I was gonna go to. I also wanted to go to this. I had to change my plans. But tell me what you guys did and how it went.
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. We did something big. Okay, let me rephrase. We didn't do something big. We went to see some people who did something big because guess what? Guess what, everybody? There is a Dominican family on television.
Let's go.
There is a Dominican family on television on HBO MAX on a show called Gordita Chronicles. Frank and I. Do you want to do the honors? Should I
No,
talk
Rachel,
about you?
continue. You're doing a great job.
I'm just really excited. I had to tout that first before we talk about the event that we went to because it was in celebration of said show. And to see Dominicans on TV, you know, to hear all the comments from friends in our circles and on social media and to see the feedback that the show itself is getting from the critics,
People
it feels so good.
Wow.
We're getting there, people. So thank you to everyone over at HBO Max.
That
to
place
the
was
shows
nice, man. That place was dope.
That we were,
Overlooking
yeah,
Manhattan, Lower Manhattan. Is the new area by 30-something Street, Jamie?
we were at the Hudson Yards.
Oh, man.
Hudson Yards.
Yeah,
So
man.
wait, it's a theater in a building?
Yes,
Okay.
on the 26th floor, overlooking Lower Manhattan, like overlooking is beautiful.
It's really gorgeous. A nice screening room over at HBO headquarters.
So they
And
probably were like, the people that live in Hudson Yards are probably like, what are all these Latinos doing
What
in
are
our
doing
neighborhood?
here?
This isn't a...
honey, what's going on here? They're protesting. Should we go inside? What's happening?
Look who's moving in. All right.
Right? Yeah. Oh, we moving in, people. Get ready. And we're also on television. This is really big, you guys. This is that big. This is huge. I don't
Yeah.
even know what to do. I'm beyond myself.
So far,
Look.
this show, like you were saying, I'm hearing this. The stuff I'm hearing on this show is mostly positive, and you know, when there's a Latino project, there's equal amounts like positive and negative because there's
Yes.
people that are like just gotta. So far, I've been hearing a lot. You know, I've just been hearing positive. I don't think I've even read anything negative yet. So that's a good sign. That's a good sign that it's hitting a lot of check marks that Latinos been wanting to see in a show.
In the screening, everybody was cracking up. People were cracking up big time. So I knew. I mean, I already knew. I said I've never seen that. Everybody just laughing so much. And
I mean-
also, go ahead, Rachel.
No, go, Frank. This is too much to say, and we're
I
gonna
just
cut
want
each
to give
other
a
off,
shout
but I
out.
want you to go.
I
Go.
want to give a quick shout out to all the people that were there. I mean, like all our friends were there. Like Calixto was there. Millie Tavares, former guest. Black Rose, Sasha Mercy hosted it. Jerry Diaz was there. Juan Bago was there. Jenny Abreu, Kevin Grullon, Kevin Lopez, Sandy
Aye.
from The Art of Happier was there. I could keep on going.
Yamin Segal, our
Yeah,
boy. Yeah, the list was really extensive. It was really nice to see everybody. It was also a good vibe because we're all there celebrating this amazing show. So let's talk a little bit about the show. And we don't want to talk too much about the show because guess who our guest is on
Who
this
is it, Rachel?
episode?
¿Quién es?
I love that you're such a good actor because that was really good acting. It really sounded like you didn't know who the guest was, even though we just finished interviewing her. That was great. That was convincing. We have none other than the show's creator and writer, Claudia Forestieri. This is such a full circle episode for us. Okay, so the show takes place in the 80s, which you guys know is already just part of the hilarity with the music. and the fashion. And I believe one of the lines in the first episode is, little Cuckoo is going to school now with her sister in Miami in the 80s. And I believe in the show, she says something like, wow, everybody here, or she says, all the girls look like Madonna and the boys too. And then you see the like 80s fashion and like the hair, and that in and of itself is so fun to watch. The show is narrated basically Wonder Years style by Dasha Polanco. So when you hear her voice, you're also like Dominican.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that kicks it off right away. And it's really just a story about, I don't want to give away too much, but immigration, our culture, what it takes to assimilate, to fit in, Dike. Maybe like what some of our parents and grandparents went through, coming to this country. And I really appreciated a lot of the specificities baked into the scripts of the show. We had the privilege to see episodes 1 and 2, and some of these jokes are just too good. We're talking about like the family, traditions and how that shifted from when they were living in Dominican Republic and Santo Domingo to now Miami. Right. And we know that story, right? Or we know a version of the story, because these are all different versions of the same story. And I think that's another reason why we love this show so much, because we know this story so well. It's around us. It's part of our family. And then tie in the part of Cuckoo being a gordita, growing up in a city that's very much about body. Right. And could give you a hell of a lot of body issues. That also is something that we haven't seen yet. And it's addressing it in such a beautiful, organic way. And as a former gordita, you guys, and as a gordita growing up and being called gordita, I think I've even told you like some of the bad gordita stories on this podcast. Remember when I was in my cheerleader outfit waiting for the bus on Ocean Avenue in Brooklyn, and I told you that car full of Mexicans drove by and wrote, "Hola, gordita!" And they said that at the top of their lungs, and I cried for fucking weeks.
That is, that can scar a young girl.
That could destroy you forever.
Yeah, well, it didn't destroy me, but I mean, for a few weeks it did. But I'm watching this on screen, and there's so many moments that I related to Cuckoo, but I love how strong and empowered Cuckoo is in the show. And you see her telling people off, like, and she's only 12. And that's the other thing I want to highlight here, too. The introduction of Olivia Goncalves to the world through this show.
If the lead of the show is not not bringing it,
Jamie,
and she's young and she's bringing
Jamie,
it.
she has it, man. She lit up that room, man, at the screening. She lit that room up. She had everybody in like stitches, man.
That show's on her back, right?
Yeah,
and she's a natural, from the episode that I saw, like, she's really good. So.
She got it.
Yeah, she got it, man.
She got it, and she knows it, and she's proud of it. She's going to be a huge star. And I also think what's more important than that is she's going to be the voice of so many underrepresented little girls out there. That touches me. Ooh, that touches me. Because where was she when I was a gordita? She was nowhere on TV. She was not on screens anywhere. And now she's on a screen, and I'm so proud of that, of what that's going to do for little girls everywhere that are plus size, that are called gordita, and sometimes out of a term of endearment. That's what it was in my family. I don't think my tia was trying to like be like, "Look, you fat bitch." Like, I don't think that's what she was trying to say.
Oh, my goodness.
I think she was like, "Ay, gordita, ven pa' acá. Tú tienes hambre. Tú quieres pastelito. ¿Qué tú quieres? Bicocho dominicano. ¿Qué quieres?" Like,
why do they always offer the fat kids the most food? I don't know. I was the same way. They used to want to always feed me. The fat kids always get all the food,
Yeah.
The flacos don't get offered anything, No, Jamie, I don't know. Flaco, ven pa' acá, come, ven.
No, they just tell me like I don't eat. Like they used to tell me like, "Mira, eat something," and I'm like, "What are you talking about? I just finished a whole pie. But you know, my metabolism. ¿Qué es eso? Metabolism. You know what's these big words you're using?
Metabolismo, ¿qué esa vaina? Yo no
¿Qué?
sé.
Petobismo.
Oh, ¿tú quieres tú tienes, you have a upset stomach? Huh? You want some té? Cartílago de tiburón? You want some uña de gato? ¿Qué tú quieres? Okay, the other thing I want to tout on this show is that Dad on the show is an airline marketing executive. We've also never seen that before.
Right.
And that makes me so proud. How does that make you guys feel? Like we're seeing ourselves as successful, hard workers on screen. This show, I mean, we've only seen 2 episodes so far. I can't wait to tune in and see the rest. But like, you know, I didn't see any Latino drug dealers. I didn't see any Latina maids. And that makes me very excited. This show breaks a mold.
It's I mean, look, I think we just need like variety in our stories, right? Like I think there's a place for shows that have, you know, drug dealer characters and stuff like that, but that if that's all we're seeing, then we gotta like mix it up, y'all. Like who's greenlighting, you know, who's greenlighting these shows? But this is a show that I'm a fan of you know, I've been saying like, you know, there needs to be more like you know, mainstream Latino comedies, like straight like LOL type comedies, and I haven't seen that a lot, you know. So seeing this is like they're really going for the jokes, and so you can see that in the writing. So so that's something I really like about it as well.
I really appreciate where we've come as a just content creators, I'll say. Also want to shout out the show's showrunner because she was there up on stage.
Right.
Bridget Munoz-Leibowitz. She's also been in the industry for a while, working on shows like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and just has a really impressive resume. And I just also want to reflect on how far we've come. You know, like, remember Que Pasa USA?
Yes.
That was like sort of a show that broke the mold too. Cubanos in Miami, talking about the immigration experience. We kind of saw that for the first time back in the day.
Yeah.
But now, look where we are. Now we are on TV.
Oh, we're moving
Dominicans.
to the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky. Woo.
Pero qué orgullo. I thought the event was great. Shout out to Jess Vargas over at HBO also for just putting together stellar events.
Yeah, that was
dope. Frank, it was really amazing just to be in the room with all those creatives and talk about a buzz, boy.
Wow.
That place was buzzing. Like a beehive.
Bzzz.
Like a Latino beehive.
Bzzz. The drinks were coming too. Oh, jeez.
Yes.
I love those events with those drinks just flowing.
So what better way to really delve into Gordita Chronicles than to have the show's creator on Latinos Out Loud? Okay, so what other way to bring this full circle than to have an interview with the show's creator, Claudia Forestieri? So let's get into it.
Yes.
You guys, it is now part of the show here on Latinos Out Loud, where we interview someone. Finish my sentence. Fill in the blank. I say the same thing every week.
Rachel. Amazing,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Am I lying though? It's not a lie. Every week, the guests get more and more amazing.
Amazinger.
That was such a good echo, you guys. Our timing on Zoom is like chef's kiss. Okay, so we're so close to this woman and she doesn't even know it. But we love all her work. Please, everybody, stop your cars, honk your horns, put your hands in the air for the creator of Gordita Chronicles, Claudia Forestieri.
Yeah. Oh my God. Thank you guys. I love that intro.
Yeah.
Rachel can teach a master class on introducing people.
I know. You need to talk to some of the people at NPR. You know, because they're all so serious. Like, this woman was born and, you know.
Let's get to know her, shall we?
Yeah, let's lean in and listen.
Rachel's
to
like
her
kicks
story.
in the door. Rachel kicks in the door.
Maybe
you gotta know this person.
Maybe I put the PR in NPR, but definitely not NPR style. Because this is Latinos Out Loud, and that's exactly what we do. I take pride in those intros. Claudia, we are so happy to have you here because your ears must have been ringing We've been talking about you since Gordita Chronicles came out. We
Oh,
can't
man.
stop talking about it. And
Oh,
we're not the
thank
only
you.
ones. The Instagrams, the Twitters, the Facebooks, they're all talking about you in this show. So everybody, please, just Claudia, tell everybody a little bit about what you do. Because my intro really says like nothing compared to like what you probably do on a day-to-day. So like tell everybody what it means to be the creator of the Gordita Chronicles.
Well, what it means. Oh my God. Well, it's been, I like to say that I kind of Forrest Gumped my way into having the show on HBO Max. Because the way it happened, I had been in LA for many years trying to make it as a TV writer. And I was writing script after script, taking all these classes. And, everybody always tells you, write what you know. But then somebody like made it more specific for me one day and it kind of crystallized. They're like, write a script that only you could write. Because like that, people will know who you are and they'll really see your voice. And, because when you're looking at stuff on a TV show, somebody described it once to me as like, the showrunners are trying to find different color crayons. So they're trying to find like, to make color in the picture. So if you're doing a crime show set in Kentucky, you want to try to get like a police officer and somebody who's an ex-convict and, somebody who grew up in this neighborhood, etc. Like different elements. So I was like, okay, I'm going to write this. So the first version was an hour. It was a dramedy, had a little like drama in it. And and that script got me hired on Good Trouble. And then it got me hired on Selena the series. And then I also write comedies and I love comedy. So one day I had an interview, what we call general meetings here in LA or everywhere actually. But, in the industry, it's kind of like when you have a meeting with an executive, just so they can get to know you and keep you in mind for future jobs. And there was this Mexican-American guy, Frank Ochoa, and he had read the script and he loved it. And he's like, hey, would you consider, we want to option this, which means that they want to like, buy it and pay me a little bit of money and see if it sells. And then if it sells, they give me more money. So they're like, we want to option it. We think this could be a show. Would you consider turning it into a half-hour family comedy? And I was like, wait a second. You think this could be a show? You think somebody actually wants to see a show about una gordita dominicana? Like what? With an Italian last name? I'm like, I will turn this into a musical procedural. Like if you think it could sell. Are you kidding me? Like sign me up for that. So anyway, then, we started adding on, like, at every step, like, more collaborators join in, and then HBO Max bought it, and then first they buy this, the first script, the pilot, and then they asked for, like, a Bible, which is, like, a breakdown of everything, and then we shot the pilot, and then, anyway, I don't want to get into all that, because I already forgot what you asked me.
Oh, but it totally ties into the question. Yeah, well, this is quite the story, because your story about a gordita dominicana is my story and other women's stories too, okay? And other gordito, the men's, the boys.
Yeah, I was a flaquito,
I was a gordito.
boricua, but it was still like, I had self-consciousness about it, but it's the same kind of idea of like,
yeah, a lot of people will hone in on like that one perceived flaw and then they'll stamp you like flaquito, gordito, cabezón, narizón, orejón. And then that's your nickname,
Exactly.
They also call me pecadito because of my mouth. Because I have a big butt. Yeah, this lip is real, baby. It's real.
Okay.
All
But
right.
they used to call me pecao. Not pescado, but pecao.
pecao.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, man.
I like that you said this lip is real. I haven't been in Hollywood that long, all
Right?
So basically, Gordita Chronicles was your sample. This has been your baby for quite some time.
Yeah.
Can we go back to how you had to shift it from a dramedy to a 30-minute comedy? What did that mean for you?
Well, it meant a lot of things. That's a great question because when I first zoned in on writing about this, like it was very difficult actually. When I was in a class, I was taking a script anatomy class. I was trying to figure out what to write about. I got that advice, like write only the script that you could write. And it was actually very traumatic coming. Like in real life, my real life is a little bit more complicated than the TV show life, right? So in real life, I come from like 3 generations of immigrants. My grandfather immigrated from Italy to Dominican Republic in the 1920s. And then my dad is Dominican Italian. And then he grew up like in New York. His father had money, and he grew up, even though he was born in Santo Domingo, he grew up part in New York, and then in Switzerland, and then in Italy. He had his first wife was Italian. He has 2 sons with this Italian woman, then comes back to Santo Domingo, and then he meets my mom, and he fell in love with my mom before he got a divorce from the Italian wife.
Wow.
So it was a big scandal. Yeah. So that's why I know.
I kind of want to see this show.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm like, forget about it. I want to hear more of this.
That one is like Gordita After Dark. You know, or something like that. I don't know. Because then my mom is actually in real life. You know, real life, I'm a little bit lighter skinned than Olivia, who plays Cuckoo, and Diana is a little bit lighter than my mom in real life. So in real life, my mom is dark skinned Dominicana. My dad's like Dominican Italian, con ojo verde. You know, so it was like she got her little trophy husband, I guess, is what it got. But anyway, there was a lot of drama because, you know, a lot of people, my dad's side of the family were like, ¿y qué tú haces con esta negrita si tú tienes una italiana? You know what I mean? What are you going to leave this Italian woman for to marry this poor Dominican woman? Like, you know, so there was all these things and everything. And like, so that's why initially it was like I call like kind of like My So-Called Life, which is a show, you know, some of you guys might remember, which was really great, which wasn't like a heavy drama. It wasn't going to be a novela either. But like it had like fun moments, but then it had like a little bit of like drama. And
then it had like, you know, the emo soundtrack also.
Right. That was like Claire Danes. I fell in love with Claire Danes. Yeah, I fell in love with her.
Yeah. So, well, and again, I forgot the question.
Well, basically,
estoy mal. Oh my
how
God.
many people have been asking you how many questions in like the last 2 weeks? That's okay. We're here for you. Luckily, my memory's working today. I really wanted to know about like what that meant for you as a writer, as a creator, to have to shift it from a dramedy to a full-on comedy, and what that meant to you.
Thank you. And I will bring it home and give you an answer to that. So, it was very hard because also when I came over at 7 years old, I was born in San Juan, and like, you know, my parents always, in my family, I'm known as La Boricua because I was the only one in the whole family.
La Bori.
Yeah, I was like the only one in the whole family who was born in Santo Domingo, that was not born in Santo Domingo. I was the only one, even my dad, who's half Italian, was born in Santo Domingo. My sister's born in Santo Domingo. Everybody's born in Santo Domingo except me. Wow. So then I came over when I was 7, and in Puerto Rico, my dad worked for Eastern Airlines, and we went to a private school, you know, and like I had like a nanny and everything. I was living the high life. Yeah, I didn't ask to move to Miami. I was fine. Like it was all that I knew. You know what I mean? And we come to Miami at 7. It was very traumatic. Like in real life, I didn't speak English. So you know, the fictional Cuckoo speaks English. You know, because we wanted the show to be seen by people, even Latinos, that don't speak Spanish. So we didn't want to have to put a lot of subtitles. So that's why we made that creative decision. In real life, I didn't speak Spanish. And that second episode that I co-wrote with our showrunner, it was in real life, it was a lot sadder because the teacher would like put me in the corner when I spoke Spanish. And then one day she left me out. She put me outside because I kept doing it because I didn't speak English.
Oh.
Yeah. And then she left me out in the sun. And the biggest tragedy of all was they all went to lunch one day and they forgot about me and I didn't get lunch.
Dang.
So that was
Wow.
the worst. I was there for hours in the Miami sun, and then that day they had to come, like I was crying, they had to come pick me up. And my mom was very smart, and she's like, you know what we're gonna do? You don't like school? Okay, you're not gonna go. So she took me out of school for a whole week. My dad was working for the airline, and so he was out of town traveling. And when he came back, he sat me down and he talked to me about his experiences, because he had gone through similar experiences when he was like a young boy. He went from Santo Domingo to New York and having to learn English. And then in Switzerland, he had to learn French and then, Italian. So my dad spoke 4 languages. So he, he could relate to what I was going through, and he helped me like work through that. But that's why initially it was kind of more of a dramedy. But then when they told me they wanted to make it into a comedy, I was like, oh my God, I was happy because I always wanted to do comedy. But one of the reasons why, like, I feel like my first writing jobs weren't in comedy is because comedy is very subjective. And I've always been writing about Latino characters. And I feel like my early scripts maybe didn't get me any jobs, probably because they were my early scripts, but probably in part because they were very specific to my like Latina experience and everything that I, saw and covered as a reporter for Telemundo, for many years. So the fact that I got they told me they wanted to do a comedy. I say kidding around that I would have turned it into anything, and I would have. But also, I was also very happy. I'm like, oh my God, I get to do a comedy. And then that's where Bridget Munoz Lipowitz comes in. And I knew her from NBC Writers on the Verge, this diversity program that we did. And her comedy chops are like super strong. And she had worked on Brooklyn Nine-Nine and People of Earth. And back in 2013, she was like a few years ahead of me with her writing. Her writing was a lot stronger. And we kept in touch. Little did she know, you know how Dominicans are. If you see somebody who can help you, you hang on to them.
What?
So somehow we hustled this girl into being the showrunner and bringing out her experience. So yeah, it was beautiful to have her on because there were a lot of stories that were kind of like a little sad, like the English only story that with her help, we were able to turn it like, to something fun.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, those teacher scenes were so good.
Yes.
And she gets detention. And then I shouldn't give it away. Tune in and watch the whole thing. Because then the card thing, every time Olivia or Cuckoo on the show gets an opportunity to use her culture and or language to do a nice zinger to the non-Latinos on the show, or sometimes the Latinos, I'm like, this is tying into who we are as a people, because we also use our culture and our language whenever we need to, don't we? Like, those are the bonuses of being Latino, A, E, I, X, Y, in this country right now. Jamie, you feel it looks like you have a big question coming out.
He looks ready.
He's doing the beard thing. I'm like, uh-oh.
It's not the type of question. Bringing everything back to what you said. No, it's just another question.
Yes.
The show is set in the 80s.
Yes.
Is it harder to write a show like set, in the past? Or is it kind of easier? I mean, is it? Yeah, it's hard because I was thinking it also could be easier because if you're writing about young kids, like nowadays, like if I'm writing about kids today on like a script or something, I'm like, I need to check up the new vernacular because I don't know if I speak this language of high school kids or so I feel like that would be easy.
Are they still using PHAT? Like, are they using PHAT or no? No, I don't think so.
As a kid from the 80s, I would be like, I know this lingo. But what makes it harder to actually like write a show set in the 80s?
Yeah, what makes it harder is just, we had our room, we had people of different ages. So sometimes I would say like, oh no, that didn't happen in the 80s. Like karaoke, like somebody pitched an idea. Oh, what if they go to karaoke? I'm like, no, karaoke wasn't a thing in the mid 80s. And then somebody like one of our Gen Z writers would look it up. And it says here that they created it in Japan and blah, 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 this and that, and this year. So you're wrong. And I'm like, well, but the thing is, one thing is the year that it was created. Another thing is the years that it starts becoming a thing.
Yeah.
So
what if Kuka starts dabbing? You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, that's
no, that didn't come out yet.
Maybe she can high-five somebody, but...
Claudia, talking about the 80s, talk to me about the music. I love the 80s music that you had on it. I mean, I'm from I think the 80s music is the best. But, how did you have a say in the music? Because,
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You better believe it.
All
no,
right.
the music, like, again, me and I wish our showrunner was here because we are both huge Latin music fans.
Oh.
And like, we were like, trying to put in as many Latin songs as we could. And, but also, there was 3 different types of music that I grew up with, right? One was like top 40 Americana, like those songs that you had videos on MTV, right?
Casey Kasem, all of that.
Yes.
Casey's top 40.
Yes. And then there was the music my parents were listening to, like, merengue and salsa. And like, growing up, you're like embarrassed. You're like, oh my God, mommy, quita eso, por favor. And then there was the third type of music, which at the time, I thought it was only in Miami. But when I grew up, I realized I'm like, no, they had this music in New York and Chicago, LA, all the big cities, which is freestyle music.
Oh my
So-
God, Rachel,
Yeah.
Rachel loves
Don't-
India.
I mean, yo. I'm not gonna. All right, no, don't get me started because then the espíritus are gonna start coming through the mic and it
Oh my
might get
God.
real like white
Yeah.
dressy in here.
Rachel
so.
gonna start spitting out some George Lamont in a second, so we need
Oh
to
my God, there's so much.
we need to settle down.
Jimmy, you're like the biggest freestyle person in this room
I
right
got that from my
now.
sister though. I was kind of like she used to listen to it a lot, and so I
Yeah.
I got down with that. But freestyle is
Yeah.
like not everybody is aware of it. Like
I know.
it's like
I
one
know.
of these
Don't get
jewels,
me
crown jewels of
started.
music right there. Yeah.
Oh my
Let's
God, don't get me
discuss.
started. I want to do a series just on freestyle music. I wanna,
Oh.
yeah. And just even the Lisa story. You guys know, I'm sure you know Lisa. I think
Of
was
course,
like
come
a
on.
teenager. She wasn't even 18 when she had her first hit.
And she
Wow.
was in a cult, right? She was in a cult.
She was in a
Lisa
cult.
said to come on, Jamie.
You see, but people who don't know freestyle are not gonna get that joke, and it's just gonna go over their heads. And this is the new generation, right?
Yeah, she was in a
Oh.
cult that jammed. That's great. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
You go outside of New York or like Florida or like wherever you go across the world, freestyle. Oh, you're gonna rap? Let's go. Let's freestyle rap. Like
Yeah.
no, like Judy Torres. Like you don't know any of these people? Oh my God, how many love letters and like poems and like.
Love letters. Wow.
Speaking of which, but like seriously, boys would make you the mixtape, and most
Yeah.
of it was freestyle. I'm like, this guy's such
Yeah.
a loser. Like, no. Anyway, okay. So Olivia Goncalves, am I saying
Yes.
her name correctly?
Yes.
Okay. I love the story that we heard at the screening of how you guys found her. Because the search for you as a youth must be, first of all, weird and surreal and all of that. But then
Yeah.
how do you scan the earth for little Claudia? How did you, could you tell our listeners the story?
Man, so it was, there's a lot of young, talented actresses out there and that tried out. But, we were looking for like a needle in a haystack, right? Because this girl had to be cute. She had to be smart. She had to be sassy. She had to be gordita. But, she had to also have some confidence and some chutzpah, So we got a lot of like really great actresses. But, one thing that I have to say is I really, really wish more parents would enroll their, more Latino parents would enroll their kids in acting classes and get them
Yeah.
into arts early, because
Facts.
there weren't that many Latino kids. And I was like, I really just thought like for a role like this, I thought there would be more. So, and again, we saw a lot of like great actresses, but it's just, we needed something very, very, very special. Somebody like really that could really bring it. And it's not easy to find a 12-year-old girl that could like front her own series, So we were getting auditions after auditions after auditions, and we still weren't feeling like we had found the right person. So then I'm like, you know what? I know a lot of people, thank goodness, all over the country, because I work for Telemundo in different cities. So I'm like, I'm going to post on Facebook. I know all the cool kids are on Instagram now, but I'm still on Facebook. And I posted it. And I was, one of my writer friends who's from New York is like, hey, I know this guy, Ulises.
Ulises Terrero.
Yeah, Ulises Terrero. And then he's like, but he says he might be able to help you, but he wants you to call him. And I was like, okay. So I call him. I'm like, hey, hi, Claudia. He's like, yeah, I know who you are. I heard about you. He's like,
That's him.
yeah, how come? So now, how come you didn't hire me to do your casting? Now you need me?
Aight.
And now you need me and you expect me just to help you for free? And I'm
Uh-oh.
like, listen, I'm like, oh my God. So I had to explain to him like my whole life story. I'm like, listen, oh my God, you don't understand what it's been like to get to this point. And this is my first show and I'm learning as I go and da-da-da, this and that. So then I think I talked his ear off until he felt sorry for me. And then...
Good strategy, okay?
Yeah. So then, like, he's like, all right, I'm going to send you 3 videos, 3 girls, and that's it. But like that's still really like
New York style. That's
oh
it,
my
man.
god, oh my god, oh my god. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
And then one of the videos, like, so he sent 3 videos. The other 2 girls were adorable too, and they like read for the part and everything. But Olivia's video like just stood out, and I was like, oh God, please let her be able to act. Please, dear God, please. Because that video, I don't want to spoil it for you guys so you can get the surprise of when you see it. But it was like, this might be it. So then I shared it with our showrunner, Bridget, and then she's like, oh my God, let's have her read immediately. So then we had her read immediately. Then we saw the audition, and it was good, but you could tell she was green because it turns out she had never had an acting role in her whole life.
Wow.
So, yeah. And then, so, you know, she needed some experience. Thank God. Eva Longoria, who's our director, had a call back on Zoom with her, and she could tell that she had potential. And then it was, you know, at one point we had another strong candidate, and Eva broke it down like this. She's like, okay, the other candidate is, you know, very good, very polished. She's, you know, had a role on a Disney series, but to get her to be cuckoo, I would have to like paint, it would be like painting stripes on a kitten. But with Olivia, I have a tiger. And like, and I'd rather take the tiger.
Yes.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I
yes.
Yeah.
I'm a savage, classy, bougie, ratchet, sassy, moody, nasty, acting stupid. What's happening? What's happening? I'm a savage.
Hi, my name is Olivia Alexandra Gonzalez. I'm 11 years old. My height is 4 feet and 8 inches, and I weigh 147 pounds. I love singing, I love dancing, and I definitely love acting. I can be la gordita. Yo puedo ser la gordita.
And then our executive at Sony, the same one, the Mexican-American guy, Frank Ochoa, who saw the potential in the story when it used to be a 1 hour, he also described Olivia as like a rookie. She's a rookie with all the potential in the world. You know, she's like our freaking Kobe Bryant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, she deserves to go all the way up to like the major leagues. So yeah. So at every step of the way, the more that we worked with Olivia, the better she got. So we knew that she had the potential to do this series.
And even on that same tip, like even as the show went on, were you seeing like her kind of blossoming from the first episode to the end of the season type thing?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's cool.
There was one day that she was having, I forget what the line was, but she was having trouble getting the subtext of the line. Because, you know, acting's not easy. And you have like all these people on the cameras and everything. I couldn't have done it at that age. I don't know how Olivia does it. But she was having trouble nailing down the line. And Bridget, who was there on set, she whispered something in her ear so she could get the meaning, the subtext of the line. And what she told her was, it was a line that Olivia was, as Cuckoo, was delivering to the sister, Emilia. And Bridget tells her, it's like you're calling her a sucia. And Olivia just went like, and she's like, okay, I get it now.
Amazing. Wow, that's what an experience. And she is cuckoo.
Yeah.
You can see in episode 1, then we saw it again in episode 2. I can't wait to see the rest. Now, I'd like to talk real quick about episode titles. We're nerds here at Latinos Out Loud. We're big on episode titles and our show notes, right, Jamie, who writes them? But I noticed that all the episode titles are In America blank. In America, everything is possible. In America, we speak English. In America, no one likes a chicken, and so on and so forth. I'd like to know about that. If that was a strategy, what is that saying to everybody who's reading the episode titles? I want to just hear it all.
Well, you know, to me, like, number one, I'm like a big nerd, so I love nerdy stuff. And I always think of titles as little poems. You know, like even the title of this show, like I felt like, you know, it needed to say something. Because sometimes you need to grab people as early as possible. And if they hear Gordita Chronicles, you already know, oh, this is something, you know, Latine, and it's bilingual, and it's saying a lot, you know? So with the titles, I saw that as an opportunity. So the titles tend to be mostly myths about America and American culture. You know, in America, everything is possible. It's like, that's what people say, but we know that's not really true, you know? And in America, we speak English. Nah, not really. We speak a lot of languages here. So it's kind of more myths. Sometimes the myths are proving correct. Like the very last episode is in America, we're brave. And Cuckoo, like, you know, there's a scene, I don't want to give it away, but there's a scene where Cuckoo draws, you know, a parallel between, you know, immigrants and our founding fathers.
Ooh.
So, yeah, so I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but hopefully you make it to episode 10. But the titles are very significant. And I you know, I'm glad you guys noticed there was a pattern there.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, do I love that pattern. Yeah. Stars and stripes. I love it.
Claudia, quick question, Claudia, with the going back to like the writing staff, right? This is like this show has really like a lot of jokes per line, right? It's one of those type of shows that is quick. And I've always had I've always wondering like why there's not more mainstream Latino shows that are like straight up funny, right? You know what I mean? And this is like watching the pilot, like I was like, oh, okay, it's this type of they're bringing like the funny too, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, how fun was that writer's room? You know, was it just a lot of people? Like you said, there's a lot of different ages, a lot of different diversities in there. But was it just kind of like fun to really kind of have a bunch of people kind of just throwing out hilarious stuff? You know what I mean?
Man, it was really fun. And for me, it was a little bit of a learning curve because I always wanted, you know, I write dramedies and I write comedy, but it was my first comedy room.
Yeah.
So my first two rooms, one was Good Trouble, the other one was Selena the series, and those were more like straightforward. Still fun, but straightforward. So Bridget was the one who kind of like showed me the ropes with a comedy room, because all the shows she had been on had been like, except I think for Love Life, had been like straight up comedies. So she's like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna start the morning with a game. So we would play some kind of game. We'd play like Taboo, we'd play charades, and that got everybody loosened up. Yeah, so it was like, okay, I'm like, this one. And at first I was kind of like a little like, oh my God, we have a deadline. You know, I was like the mom of the group, you know? And then we had like some people that were like straight up like comedians. Like one of our writers, Matt Claybrooks, like literally like on his off time when he's not writing pilots, he's writing for Chris Rock.
Wow.
So his stuff is like boom. Like sometimes I was even intimidated. There's another writer we have, Mexican American, Isaac Gonzalez. And man, he makes it look so easy. Like all the stuff he says, like, you know, he wrote the episode number 4, which you guys will see. There's a character in there that's introduced, Alvaro, which is this little Cuban boy. You guys will see it when you get there, hopefully. And yeah, so everybody brought something really funny to it. And then we had another writer, Dan Signer, even though he wasn't Latine, he was an immigrant from Canada. So his episode that he wrote, he brought a lot of his experiences into it and a lot of really like funny jokes. So Sean Wines too. So many great writers that we had. We had Chris Gautier, who's also Dominican. And she would like, yeah, she would chime in like, you know, with some Dominican stuff. So yeah, it was just like, you know, our showrunner and was like kind of like our ringleader, right? Because it can get kind of like chaotic in a comedy room. But then like she has so much experience in comedies that she was able to like, okay, like, you know, we pitch a bunch of ideas and then like she kind of would decide like, okay, we're going to land here. And then of course I would chime in and be like, okay, like, you know, in Miami, this is how that would happen. Or like in Dominican families or in my family. So it was just a lot of fun. It was like a lot of fun. And you know, it can be very intense though too, because sometimes we create something and then like, you know, there's various steps to a script creation, the creation of a script. So first you do what's called a story area, which is a 1-page document, and you turn it into like the network in the studio, and then they weigh in. So sometimes we'd be like, oh my God, we came up with something hilarious, oh my God, and then you get the notes. It's like, oh.
Claudia's like, yo, my musical episode was they rejected it. They were like, maybe season 2 we can do this.
Well, wait, when working with executives that are not Latino or Latina, did you have any obstacles in that area having to explain the culture or explain any jokes?
You know what? Not really, because the we actually had a little bit of the opposite issue, which is, well, one of our executive at Sony, we had Frank Ochoa, who was our development executive, and then Morgana Cabrera Rosenberg, who was our current executive for Sony. And then Nikki Reed is Black, and who's our executive at HBO Max, and Allegra Newman, even though she's not a person of color, she's an immigrant from Australia. So we actually, more often than not, instead of getting like a note of like, oh, explain to us this joke about like, why does this Cuban boy say this? We actually had sometimes the comments of like, hey, like, let's zero in on like really like something like more specific. Like, let's make a joke about like, the Cuban community here, or about Adela's, hometown or whatever. So we were like, oh, okay. Okay. You want us to, okay, cool. We'll do that. So it was kind of like refreshing to see that they're like, and they also wanted like a lot of, because season 1 of a show can be like a roller coaster ride, and you're not even roller coaster. That's not even the right comparison, but you're carving out a new path because it's a new show. So you're like, there's an expression that, a lot of writers use, or show creators, which is finding the show. So season 1, you're finding the show. You're like figuring out, okay, what works? Like, okay, oh my God, we noticed it's really funny when Cuckoo, like at the top of the episode, promises something that we know she can't get or she can't do, and then we see her suffer through it. Okay, that has worked, so we're going to try to keep doing that. Not that there's a formula, but you find what works for the show, what doesn't work. So, anyway, I lost the question again. Sorry.
I want to jump in actually, because
I have been doing so good. I have been doing so good up to now.
You're doing great.
Oh, man.
We already got the title of the show. It's like, I lost the question. That's the title of this episode. So we're good. We're good.
I want to just jump in and give you guys kudos for the whole obstacle of her getting Gloria to perform. The whole audience did not expect to see who we saw come out on stage.
Yeah.
There were so many of those moments. Oh, and I also want to dial back. Here I am going all over the place. I want to tout Ulises real quick, because I happened to be sitting behind him at the screening, and he was like this. He was videoing everything Olivia was saying, and I swear she was his own daughter, because every time she would say something, he'd be like, yo, you heard her? You heard what she said? You heard what she said? And he was so proud, and he even looked back at us. He high-fived one of us. He's like, yo, you heard that? And we were like, yeah. Entonces, okay, here we go. Can I throw another question out there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
All right. Here on Latinos Out Loud, we love, or maybe I love, I don't know, I'm dragging you guys down with me. We love to really hone in on our guests' careers and their trajectories, okay? Now, you were on Telemundo as a reportera. You were reporting en vivo desde la calle.
Reportando en vivo desde la ciudad de Los Ángeles para Telemundo, Canal 52. Yo soy Claudia Forestieri. Regresamos a los estudios.
Wow.
That's the script.
You stuck that landing.
That's why my Spanish is all crazy. Because, when you work at Telemundo, they want you to speak in a neutral accent. So, like, sometimes, like, my accent, like, depending on who I'm with, comes out a little bit differently. But, at Telemundo, tienes que hablar un español así, que no se pueda... detectar de dónde eres.
Yeah, I know a girl who, like, she's like in a local news thing in New York here, and I knew her, and I'm like, you don't talk like that. What is this? I'm like, what is this voice? But it works for the TV. But I'm like, wow, okay, interesting.
Yeah. So, okay, what's life like as a reporter at Telemundo? Were there any challenges that you faced? I mean, was it something that you look back on and maybe you took some snippets of it and put it in your writing today? Or what from that time can you share with us? Because you won GLAAD Awards. You won five Emmys.
Wait, do you see them back there?
Wow. I see the shine.
It's very, it's like they just ahí como como que sin disimular, you know, like,
I
you
see
know,
it.
like
It's
you can
shining.
just see it in the corner.
They're
like,
shining.
you
They're
know.
shining. They're shining.
It's
I don't
packed
want
up
to
in
show
there. That
off,
shelf is like
but there they are.
Grand
They're
Central Station up in
beautiful.
that shelf with all those awards.
They're beautiful. And by the way, why are the bodies on trophies always so slamming? I'm just saying.
Right.
They're
They're
always
big. They're
like
big.
thick.
Yeah.
They're thick trophy
Yeah.
bodies. Well,
You know
hey.
what? I want to see a gordita trophy one day.
Yeah.
Como una pancita, you know?
Can we have the award show, the Gorditas?
I want a muffin top trophy.
Oh my God, the gordita award.
That's it.
Oh my God.
We go, another award show. Like, of course, I think there's room for that.
So, okay, I'm bringing it back because I know we'll go in the freaking stratosphere if we don't stop. The career trajectory.
Oh yeah.
So tell us about being a reporter. And yeah, you heard the question. Okay.
Being a reporter. Una
Like,
reportera
well,
para Telemundo.
basically, yeah, you won 5 Emmys, a GLAAD Media Award, and now you're a comedy writer. Did you see this trajectory back then, back there, or did you not? Did you
Well,
have a different focus?
I always wanted to write for TV. I just never knew how to get there. And the reason I went into broadcast news is because in the 90s, when I went to college, like, you know, we didn't really have like the internet like we do now. So I had no idea where to start. And I loved Oprah. And I was like, well, Oprah started like in news and then she had a show and now she's in movies. So I'm going to go down the Oprah route because it was something that I could actually major in. So then at University of Florida, though, like that was the first time, because I grew up in Miami and almost everybody in my school was Latino or a person of color. So when I went to University of Florida, go Gators,
Whoop, whoop.
there was I love my school, but there were issues in my school in the 90s because I was the first time that I was truly a minority, like a real minority, where like, yeah, people would ask me like, where are you from and what are you? Like people were very confused by being in college. But anyway, I had a professor and he basically told me I was never going to make it because I had an accent and that I could never be a TV reporter. And then also they told me I didn't have, that I had hair for radio and that like, yeah.
Oh.
And that I was like,
Radio.
hair for radio. And then like,
Wait, this was to your face? This wasn't in like a leaked email or something? Like, this seems like stuff that somebody wouldn't tell you to your face. Damn.
well, some of the things were more kind of like, some were from like maybe things that you have to read between the line. The comment about the accent, like, was literally told to me because I was actually working at a radio station and I was trying to move up and be an anchor on the news station. And this the professor who ran it, he told me, well, 5 years ago we had a guy with a Latin accent on the air and we got complaints, so we don't want to put you on the air.
Oh.
And I was like, what? I'm like, you understand me though when I speak to you, don't you? But he didn't want to take a risk again. So,
Wow.
And then other people like in the, they wouldn't tell you like in a harsh way, but just like, oh, you don't have quite the right look and you're going to have to cut your hair. I used to have like very long curly hair. And so I did conform a little bit. And then I made a resume tape in English and one in Spanish. So then the station that gave me my first break was Telemundo in the Bay Area. And I love working for Telemundo. I learned a lot of things, but it was really difficult because, I had to cut my hair, short so I could have an easier time blow drying it. I got a relaxer and I used to have this Dominican lady who did it for me in Miami to, so I could have straight hair because they don't like curly hair for a TV news reporter. Now you see more natural hair on the air, but back then in the 90s it was different.
Right.
Yeah. And then, one time I had to have my hair done in San Francisco, but by somebody who wasn't Dominican because I couldn't go to Miami all the time. So, to get my hair done and, the person left it in too long and pieces of my hair started to fall out.
Oh no.
Man. Yeah.
Oh no.
Whoa.
And then just being a gordita, like as a reporter, like, I just didn't look like all the other reporters. So I felt like I had to work extra hard. And then one time, like I got a trainer and I started working out. I would work out at 5 a.m. and I lost like 20 pounds and I was so happy. And then the people at the Univision station started saying that I had plastic surgery. And I was like,
you couldn't win.
I
Damn.
can't win.
Yo,
I
Can't
can't
win, man.
They're so
Wow.
hard to please.
It's like,
Wow.
So yeah, so all the awards I've won actually were, I didn't start winning awards for my work until I became a producer. And which is behind the scenes, because I got tired of dieting and, blow dry my hair and putting on all the makeup. And I wanted to have free time to develop my writing. So when I came to LA, I was like, okay, I'll work at Telemundo, but this time I'm going to be behind the scenes because I don't have time to be dieting and blow drying my hair and looking for clothes. I want to have some time to develop my writing skills. When I started winning awards for my journalism work, this was the irony, was the more I learned about writing comedy and fictional scripts, the better my work as a news producer got, because I understood story a lot better. So it was very tempting to actually stay in news, because I was like, okay, la cosa se está poniendo buena por aquí. I'm winning these awards and everything. And they were local Emmys, but they're still Emmys, it's still the same size statue, I swear. So I was like, maybe I should stay in news. But something inside of me was always like, no, I want to tell bigger stories, because in news, a lot of the stories sometimes are sad. Sometimes you don't get to tell the whole story because you're just, you cover a murder. That could be the beginning of the story. It could be the middle. It could be the end. And I also wanted to tell stories that were more inspiring and that were funny, because it's there's so much pain and hurt and drama in the world that I just really wanted to tell lighter stories. And I was tired of just seeing people, not seeing us represented. We're such a huge part of this country and all our contributions. And then what finally gave me the courage to leave news without knowing what was going to happen with my TV writing was after Trump won the election. I was like, one, all the horrible things he said about immigrants. I'm like, no, this is not what I saw growing up. And when he said, he was saying about Mexican immigrants, but we all know he was talking about all Latinos. Give me a break. Come on.
Hello.
And then,
the ones that he knows of, you know what I mean?
Right.
I'm sure he doesn't know
He just
all of
only
them.
knows the word Mexicans. He doesn't know how to address the rest of us. So
yeah. And since he already got one immigrant to marry him, he figured he could forget the rest, So anyway, when after he won, I was inspired. When Trump, said all those horrible things, that was part of the inspiration for writing Gordita. But also when he won, and it was 2017, I was like, I can't do 4 years of covering this guy, And I was going to say a stronger word, but I don't know if we can curse here. There might be children listening.
Sure.
But,
no, it's okay.
Go for it.
No, the moment passed.
Pero está bien.
There's a million words you can use to describe him, but I was like, I can't be here 4 years covering this guy. Please, no. And I'm like, and I talked to my husband, and thank God he was very supportive. And he's like, just go for it. Just quit and see what happens.
Wow. And look at what happened. Oh my God, I love that story. Claudia, you've worked on some really impressive shows that also tell our stories, like Selena, the series. I love this little mini story that you started in the writer's room, but then you were promoted to co-producer for the show's second season.
Nice.
Is there anything you could tell us about working with the Quintanilla family or on the series about Selena, and maybe how also that's tied into your current work in any way, shape, or form?
Oh yeah, I mean, if I think if Selena wouldn't have done the way it did, I don't know if we would have had Gordita Chronicles.
Ooh.
So, and I know there were a lot of critiques with Selena and the way it went. I did not have full control over that show, not even most of the control. Just, I was just one of the many writers. But yeah, I started out, and when I first found out about the show, I had just finished writing on Good Trouble, and I called my agent, and I'm like, when I found out the show was going to series, let me backtrack a little bit. So when I got into Spanish language media in 1995, I had just been my first internship was en el show de Cristina in Miami.
Cristina.
Oh my God.
I remember that.
My mother's idol.
The Latina Oprah.
Yes.
We cut a cake when she retired. We cut a cake at home. My mother bought a cake. I'm sorry.
My God.
Go ahead.
Oh my God. Wait, what did the cake say? Did it say adios, Cristina? Congratulations. What did it say?
They didn't put anything on it, but my mother's like, ay, necesito un cheesecake porque Cristina se va. And she was really sad. So she's like, everybody, we cutting a cake. And we got in the kitchen, we cut a cake. Woo! Anyway, you interned for Cristina.
I interned for the Cristina shows.
Wow.
I didn't get to meet Selena, but I got to meet Ricky Martin. And, yeah. So in 94, 95, right when I was in the middle of getting my broadcasting degree, I had interned for Cristina. That's when I started getting into Latin media. And so when Selena gets killed, that was like a huge moment. Oh my God, it's so funny because my sister wasn't into Latin music at the time. Now she is. But when Selena died, I knew who she was because I was already part of, keeping up with Univision and Telemundo, and I worked for Christina's show. So, but my sister wasn't. So my mom calls my sister Cristina. Ay, Cristina, ay, Dios mío, se murió Selena. And my mom's like, ¿qué? Se murió Selena. ¿Y qué prima es esa? She thought it was a cousin.
Oh, no.
Wow.
She
had
thought
no
it was one of
idea.
our cousins in Santo Domingo that had died.
I know. I cannot. But yo,
Yeah.
I happened to be in DR when Selena died. Yo,
Really?
it was the summer of what, 95? Right?
95. March 31st, 1995. Yes.
Oh, so I was there on spring break, not the summer. My bad. But we used to go a lot.
Okay.
And
okay.
I was there for spring break, and yo, people were so sad. So sad. The
Yeah.
t-shirts went up, the cassette tapes. I begged my dad to buy me the cassette tape. Yeah, that's all I did in DR. I was bored as fuck, in
Yeah.
the freaking galeria with the little tape thing, playing the same tape over and over again. It
Was
so
cassette? Was this
boring.
the 90s or the 80s?
I'm not trying to date myself, but shut up, Jamie. Yo, pero okay. We gotta wrap up this
Okay.
interview. We could talk for hours.
Forever.
Sorry,
Forever,
I
ever.
know. I can
No,
talk
no.
a lot.
This has
It's
been
your fault for asking such good questions. You guys are asking too many good questions. You get me talking.
When we get someone brilliant on the show, and basically all like our guests are brilliant, you know what I'm saying? But you're telling stories, you're telling our stories. So of course we're gonna, we just
Yeah.
want to ask you. But I want to ask you one final question, because we spoke about Cuckoo being your, little me, your mini me. But I truly believe that there are listeners out there listening to this show right now who want to get on Claudia's path and her career trajectory. So I'm wondering if you have any advice for the little Claudias on the rise, the Claudias out there that may be reporting on a news, on a news show, or that want to start writing comedy. What's some advice that you have for them at this point in your career?
Sure. I have some great advice. There's something that I like to say. It's a little corny, but I'll say it. And it's like, I really feel that if you don't chase your dreams haunt you. So I was 35 when I came to LA to pursue this.
Wow.
And, my mother had a heart attack. She's like, ¿Qué tú estás haciendo? Like, I broke up with the guy that I was dating, and I was like, no, I don't want to start a family and get married until, like, I know, like, I need to do this, right? So, like, and for so many years, I was like, oh my God, I waited too long. Like, there's so many kids out here that, like, but no, it turned out that at that age, I had things to write about. I had things to look back on. So no matter how old you are, it's never too late to pursue your dream. Also, I like to say sometimes that I've built a whole career, not one career, two, out of people telling me no. So people told me, tú eres gordita, no vas a poder ser reportera. Like they told me, like, I couldn't be a TV writer because I'm like Latina and I'm not from LA and I didn't know anybody here. I got here and I just knew two people, So if somebody tells you no and you have a dream, use that as fuel to motivate you, because the bigger the dream, the more no's you're going to get. So don't give up and just go for it, because you know what? Nobody can guarantee if you're going to get to your dream or not. But just having the privilege to go after it is going to fulfill you and give you, fill your soul, because at least you're in pursuit of it.
That's
Wow.
it, people, right
Wow.
there. That's it. One time for Claudia Forestieri.
Add another chapter to the Gordita Chronicles.
Guys, make sure to check out Gordita Chronicles, streaming now on HBO Max. Congratulations to you, Claudia. We wish
Thank
you
you,
tons,
guys.
Yeah.
tons of
Thank
more
you.
success. Please keep telling our stories. We need you.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank
One
you.
more
So fun. I want to come back.
Please.
Yeah.
Cuando tú quieras.
Please.
Cuando
No,
tú
you
come
quieras.
can't come back. But we're saying
Okay.
only saying no, so you could kind of,
Oh,
you know what I'm
right.
saying?
Right.
Come back and prove us wrong.
Right now, I have to convince you now. I have to make a case. I'm like, look, I didn't get to talk about this and that and whatever.
Right. I want to
Please.
motivate it.
Please bring me back.
Ooh.
Hi,
Nice.
we would love to have you back. Thank you so much. Such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
What an amazing, amazing career this woman is having. I love it. And
Yeah,
wow,
fun interview.
Yes, yo, I always do the reporter script, like random, like reportando en vivo, les informó Raquel Estrao Muñiz y regresamos al estudio con ustedes. But she did it. Like, that was
She
real.
really did it.
That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
real.
She was real. She
had
was a
that
real
ready
reporter.
ready to go.
It was
On cue.
perfect. It was perfect. I also love how Claudia's past and all the jobs that she's had have like led up to this point. I know that's corny to say, but she's been either reporting on our stories or writing about our stories, and now really head writing and producing, creating something around those said stories. That to me is science. It can't happen any more organic, right? And it also is a self-reflection moment. I will say selfishly, sometimes I go to bed and I'm like, ugh, am I doing this right? Am I on the right course? Should I put myself on a different course, or should I just get out of here and ride out on a horse? You know, like I always ask myself if I'm making the right decisions. And it sounds like you never know if you really make the right decision. But then 5, 10, 15, 20 years later, you're like, yep, those were the right decisions. Those were the right courses that have led me to here.
So the course leads you to the right course eventually.
Yeah, I think that's the theme I'm seeing.
Got you. You're right.
And
She
look,
did present.
she almost, can thank Donald Trump for kind of
Right, that was wild,
officially
wasn't it?
steering her into
Wow.
TV, because she's like, I don't want to talk about this guy.
Wow,
If I
he
stay
really-
in the news, if I stay in this news field, I'm gonna have to talk about this guy and look at this guy and listen to this
Every
guy.
day.
So it was like, you know what? Let me officially change course. I've been wanting to. This is my.
He can do
you
that.
know,
He
this is
can
my
irritate.
sign. This is my sign that I need to. This is my orange, gross looking, sweaty, sign
Cheeto looking.
Oh.
that I need to change my way. I need to change my profession, or revert to go to writing. And look, and she also the age thing.
Yeah.
She started at
35.
officially on TV
35.
at 35, and that proves that if you got it, if you got the skill, if you got the talent, and with a little bit of luck,
You can still get in there.
you can get in there. And luck is what you make. Luck is also about like your preparation and being in the right place and meet right people. But she's doing it, and now, but she's cool too, and that's the thing. Like the interview really was like. It was not hard to get like through the interview. It was like,
I mean, she's a writer and you're a writer. Hello. Like,
hello.
Hello. That was really fun. Okay, well, check out Gordita Chronicles. It is streaming now on HBO Max. If you don't have a subscription, hit one of us up. Frank knows a guy.
Yeah, I got somebody. Don't worry. I got somebody in the Heights.
Hit us up in the DM. We'll figure it out together. We'll work it out. 'Cause
Five
I got it
You
free
know.
from
You
my
gotta see the
phone
show.
plan. I got it free from my phone plan, so I can't.
Oh, I
can't
got
let
you.
it
I
out.
got somebody up there that messes with that too.
Yeah, anything you guys need out there, LOLeros, just hit us up. Frank knows a guy.
Frank knows a guy named Max.
There you go.
They call him HBO Max because he got the hookup.
And his name is Max.
His name
That's
happens to be
perfect.
Max, so that's it's just a coincidence, but it's.
That is a
cool.
coincidence. Wow. Actually, there's a lot of Maxes in my family. One was just born the other day, too. I'm like, all right, cousins, how many Maxes? Maximiliano. Maximo. There's like mad Maximos. I'm like, how
Skinner
about
Max.
Yo, pero can we name somebody like Mini?
Maxi Pad.
Maxi Pad, Maximo. How about a Minimo? Can we get a Minimo? Everything's about a Maximo. Anyway, this was a great episode. I'm so happy to hear our stories being told.
We getting there.
They're learning about us, Frank. This
Yeah,
show is going to teach a lot of people about Dominicans. So thank you.
Get
Thank
ready,
you to this show.
America. Get ready.
We're fun people. We have great stories. We have good music. We have great food. And there's a lot of plight. There's a lot of like struggle and in our stories. And the world needs to hear about that. Okay.
You know
and
what
get
else the world needs
educated.
to, you know what else the world needs to hear? A que lo que.
Ay.
Un, dos, tres, vamos a bailar otra vez. Que lo que, 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 que lo que.
it is that time for que lo que. Que lo
Yeah.
what? Que lo who? Que lo que.
Hello.
Yeah, we've got some que lo que's. Anybody want to go first?
Yo, I gotta show some love to Yero.com, like we
right.
always do.
Yeah.
It's the go-to Latino men's and lifestyle platform. And this week they share what went down at the Canelo Triple G press conference.
Ooh, I can't wait for that one. That's gonna be
Juicy.
good. The third time. This is gonna be the third fight.
Yeah, so this is a preview of the rematch. It's gonna be serious.
Oh man. Oof.
If all you boxing fans, check it out on Yero.com. And check me out, J Ferns, Instagram, J_Ferns, Twitter.
Okay.
So that's all, folks.
All right.
Frank, what you got?
I just want to give a shout out to you or whoever gave me whoever gave us the comps to go to the HBO event. It was really very, very nice. It's always good to go, see our peeps.
So you're trying to get another comp for another
Jamie,
premiere.
you got it.
Yo, I just want to give props to the people that gave us those passes. If there's any other event, you already know.
I'm always here, man. I'm always here.
Frank, on this one, we have Claudia to thank because Claudia reached out and personally invited. And I was very, very, very pleased to see that come across. And it felt really good to go. And it just feels really good to support.
Yes, shout out to Claudia then. She hooked it up. I had a good time.
And then, of course, where'd we end up at? We didn't even talk about, we
ended up back uptown,
back uptown looking for some chimneys, but we found another spot, so that was good. I was in just such a Dominican mood. I'm like, yo, let's go uptown. Let's hit up the chimney truck. I'm feeling Dominican. Let's go set off some fireworks. Come on. It's one of those feel-good shows. Okay, Mike, not much going on. I mean, we got July 4th coming up, so that's going to be a fun weekend. I'm really looking forward to. I'll tell you about that after July 4th. So just follow me at Rachel La Loca, RACHEL La Loca.
Right.
And also, do me a solid. Do me a huge favor. I don't ask for a lot of favors.
Okay.
But please, LOLeros, give us a rating on Apple. Give us a rating. Give us some stars. Estrellitas. Give us some estrellas. And wherever you listen to your podcast, there might be some opportunity to leave some feedback. I ask that you do that. Just let us know how we're doing, what you like. If you don't like something, let us know too. But we want to hear from you.
Yes.
Please leave us a review. That all rhymed. That all rhymed. I just want to say I'm a lyricist. Okay.
That's impressive. Also, shout out to our behind the scenes crew.
Whoop, whoop.
Pablo, Augusto, and of course Mitzi. They're the ones that you can't, you're not hearing them, but they're here. They're always watching and they're always doing a great job for us.
Amazing.
Oh, yes.
Like Tony the Tiger. Great. Like that kind of great. Yeah. Finger in the air. Thank you so much, Sonoro. And thank you so much, listeners. You keep listening, so I'm going to keep thanking you. And on that note, we out.